All right, today we are looking at circles and circumference. And so what we need to start with is to define a few different terms. Basically, in this section, there's going to be kind of two things that you're going to need to know is these terms that we go over here, and then how to find radius and diameter off of a circumference. All right, so circles. A circle is a set of points. A circle is the set of all points equidistant a given point called the center. Kind of in other words here, this as what we know to be a circle. Right, we have a circle, we have a center. The center, everywhere that we could measure from it to the side of the circle, right, is all the same distance. All right, that is called, any one of those is called a radius, right? And notice that all of the radii, the plural for radius, all of the radii in the circle are equal, right? Since they are the same measure, they are equal. So our second term is radius with a plural of radii. This is a segment with endpoints at the center and on the circle. If you had a segment, what if you had a segment that went straight through the circle with endpoints on either side, but on the circle, and it went through the center? Well, this would be called a diameter. This is a chord that passes through the center of the circle. And two kind of small formulas that go with that. The diameter equals 2 times the radius, or the radius equals 1/2 the diameter, right? Which makes sense because the diameter is made up of 2 segments going from the center to the circle. That makes it 2 radius lengths. Finally, what is a chord in general? A chord is just a segment with endpoints on the circle. So diameter is just a special kind of chord that specifically passes through the center, right? But a chord itself doesn't have to. All right, so if we go back to our example up here, right, that's a chord. A few other things. One is circles are congruent if they have congruent radii. All circles are similar, right? It doesn't matter if we have a small circle or a big circle, they're the same shape, right? They're just different sizes. All circles are similar. And concentric is two circles inside of each other, or a circle inside of the other. And I'm just going to show an example here. Specifically, these two circles would have the same center, right? So concentric, two circles that have the same center. Getting into formulas, we have circumference. And circumference is the distance around a circle. This is like perimeter for a circle. Right, so this is the distance around, it's like perimeter. And its formula, circumference equals 2 pi r. That's an important formula to know, something you should know. In general, obviously, any test or quiz we're taking this year, you'll have a note sheet, but that one's important. Circumference we can also do as pi d, right, given that the diameter is twice the radius, so 2r is d. This one's less important, but still can be useful to know. All right, so let's look at some examples. Say that we have a circle. We have a center here. We're going to call that center P. That should go through the center. A, B, C, D, and E. So you might be asked questions like, name the circle. No, you cannot name your circle Bob or Phil or Kyle or something like that. It has a specific name. The name of this circle is, Circle P. Or you can write it as a circle and then P. This is Circle P. Why is it Circle P? Circle P because the center is at P. So we name circles based off of their centers. All right. Name a radius. So there are 3 of them, right? And there's 2 different ways that we could call all of them. So we have from the center to the side, right? We have PA could be one of them, right? So we have a radius, or PB could be one of them, or PC, or we could call it AP, BP, or CP. If it says name a radius, right, you only have to name one of them. I'm just doing more so that you can see that there are more. What about naming a chord? So we have 2 different chords here, right? The one that is not a diameter, if it had ever asked for that, right? The only one not drawn as part of the diameter is DE, or we could call it ED, right? But since it doesn't, it just says name a chord, right? You could also use the chord AB, being a diameter, it's also a chord. If it asks for the diameter, AB would be your diameter, right, or BA. Let's see, suppose that we're given the diameter to be 16 inches. What's the radius? Well, if the diameter is 16, the radius is always half of that, right? Because a radius is, or diameter is made up of 2 radii, so it's half that. That would mean that the radius equals 8 inches. What if I gave you PC is 11 inches, find the length of AB? Well, PC is 11 inches. That's a radius of the circle, right? AP is also a radius. PB is also a radius. And then AB is a diameter. So AB must be 22 inches. All right, just a couple more questions. I might ask you to find the diameter and radius given circumference. And I might ask like round to the nearest hundredth. If I gave you a circumference of 36 meters, right? I find that if we have the choice, finding the diameter first is easier, because the diameter, or the circumference of a circle is pi d. The circumference here is 36, so it's just a substitution. C equals 36, C is 36, and then we can divide both sides by pi. And then we would use a calculator. 36 divided by pi, which is about 11.46. And then we take half of that to find the radius. And we get about 5.73. If we were given the circumference was 81.3 centimeters, both of these were in meters. Again, we would take 81.3, pi times the diameter gives us the circumference. Divide both sides by pi. 81.3 divided by pi gives us a diameter of about 25.88 because we round up. And divide that by 2. We get a radius of about 12.94 centimeters. And that is basically what we're looking at today. So homework will be posted in regards to that.